Good morning, Miss Ida. Today I will be presenting about critique of journal article about contrasting rich false memory in committing crime. Okay, the study mainly about to find evidence whether full episodic false memory can be of committing crime can be induced to a person under a controlled experimental setting. So in the experiment, 16 undergraduate students from Canadian University that achieved the criteria were specifically chosen to participate with reinforcement of $50. And the final result obtained is that 44% out of 60% were classified as having false memory. So the data is show that 70% of the participants met the criteria of having false memory of penetrating a crime. And furthermore, this report false memory of crime shows sign that they may have similarity to false memory of non-criminal events and to truth memory accounts. They have same types of complicated descriptive and multisensory components, which generally is false memory and the emotional non-criminal event and true memory event have similar methods of retrieving true emotional sequence. Okay, I will start my topic with a thesis statement. So in the study, I will explain about hypothesis of the study, generalizability, sample size, reward system used in the study, possible confounding variable, reliability, applicability, and the ethical standards. So first and foremost, the first hypothesis is participants will generate criminal and non-criminal emotional false memory with suggestive memory retrieval methods. The second hypothesis is false memory of crime will have identical characteristic to false memories of non-criminal events and to truth memory accounts. Furthermore, I will talk about the generalizability of the event, the study, the research. The sample of the research is non-random as each specifically chosen 16 undergraduates from the Canadian University and the 6 Canadians need to meet the criteria. Hence, having 16 non-random sample, the result will not generalizable beyond 16 people. This data cannot represent the whole population and as it have a low level of generalization and it cannot accurately estimate the sampling variability. Sample cannot identify possible bias. Furthermore, 60 individuals participate in the research, so this is relatively small sample size. Therefore, the research paper cannot provide a high statistical validity. This small data is less reliable because of low quantity of data. Based on Discombe 2010, small-scale quantity studies may be less reliable because of the low quantity of data. Thus, this eventually caused difficulties to generalize these small findings to a larger population. So, in conclusion, this lead to a result to a relatively low external validity. After that, I will talk about the rewards or sample size and discuss reward system used in the study. The reward system used in the study, they provide $15 of incentive. Though providing incentive can help you to obtain participants, but there will be impact on your results. Like for example, the implication like participants complete the paperwork and coordinate the practice with less attention. This may lead to a threat to the internal validity. Based on Xia and Koscielny 2016, incentive can affect the composition of people who wanted to participate and subsequently provide different task outcome. Generally, giving incentive can result to another outcome that compared to people without incentive. So, in addition, it also will indicate another problem that whether the participant is not were not deceptive when answering the question. So this will affect the internal validity of the experiment. Okay. After reading the article, so I found out that there is two possible co-founding variables that may affect the study. First and foremost is the cultural difference. The study predominantly or mainly is Caucasian, so this may affect the outcomes of the research. Based on Guches and Index 2009, Western culture people tend to remember on objects, categories, and self-related information, whereas Eastern cultures tend to remember contextual data and similarities group relevant items. Thus, the study strongly believes that diverse people express different emotional arousal, and this may lead to long-term memory trigger and will affect how the memory is retrieved, how the memory is obtained. Moreover, another co-founding variable is the gender difference. The study mainly include predominantly is female. Predominantly are female. There are 43 females in the study. Based on Loprinzi and Frith 2018, females perform better in verbal-based episodic memory tasks. They actually retrieve memory faster, address date more accurate, describe even more emotional. This shows that females have a better memory retrieval ability compared to men. Thus, this will affect the result of the study lah. Conclusively, the study believes that distribution of sample need to be balanced, or they can separate the data like 30-30, or to ensure the data to obtain the more significant data. Subsequently, I'll discuss about the reliability of the data. Thinking about it, 70% that having false memory is quite shocking number. Based on the past study like Lost in the Mall paradigm, there was only 25% of people having false memory. This shocking result, 70% shocking result, may result negative impacts towards the society, that people can easily being induced being constructed by people with using memory retrieval methods. Thus, I believe that the author failed to distinguish between false memory and false belief. Using an article that critique Shaw and Porter research, he proposed that when he applied Shaw and Porter scheme in another scenario, and when they apply their scheme, they can replicate the result 70%. However, when they use traditional coding scheme and the data obtained is 30% of participants met the criteria of false memory, and another 43% showing evidence of having false belief, which is belief they committed a false crime but they don't remember it. Shaw and Porter also mentioned that they fail to distinguish between false memory and false belief. So this proves that the subject may not disprove that their data is not relatively accurate, but the data for false belief can give impact to the society or the researcher. Besides that, when Wade's team practiced the result, they found out that the criteria need to achieve to have false memory, criteria 5 and 6 cannot be applied. Criteria 5 did not discuss critical events with their caregivers. Criteria 6 believing that they had forgotten the event and it actually happened. This is because I think Shaw and Porter had negligence or had misconduct on written down their report about the procedure and the debriefing, and all the data for criteria 5 and 6 not available. Thus, I believe that this is some of the mistakes that Shaw and Porter made. Or applicability. Just now is applicability. Last but not least, I will discuss about the ethical standards of deception in the research. In the study, the article didn't mention that whether they do a after research service like giving a counseling after the research. Because they use social pressure during the events to induce the false memory, so Shaw and Porter should give something to help the subjects. Therefore, they can help them to reduce the fear that being induced false memory inside them. So, however, I believe that Shaw and Porter did do something after the research, but they failed to explain and discuss it in the article. In conclusion, the study believed that scientists must be meticulous about measuring, interpreting, and communicating results. But there is no perfect word for a study or research. So, I'd like to comment that Shaw and Porter did a great job on the article for contributing the findings about false memory. And they create a new method is relatively good or usable or not, but they being critiqued by another author, another researcher. But I like to say about something. If someone is convinced that a false event is real, doesn't it matter they remember it or not? So maybe you can think about it. So this may provide a great finding for false belief in the future study. Lastly, the study respects all the approaches that Shaw and Porter had made. Thank you.